Eddie Van Halen, one of rock and roll's most gifted and beloved guitarists, has died. And that's his song. That's their song. That's Van Halen. In Panama, music you've listened to maybe for 23 years. I played it for a long time to start every hour or most hours of the Mike Gallagher Show. Van Halen's son, Wolf, confirmed the news yesterday. He wrote on Twitter, "I can't believe I'm having to write this, but my father, Edward Lodwick Van Halen, has lost his long and arduous battle with cancer this morning. He was the best father I could ever ask for. Every moment I've shared with him on stage and off stage was a gift. My heart is broken, and I don't think I'll ever fully recover from this loss. I love you so much, Pop." Well, America's heart is broken over the death of Eddie Van Halen, 65 years young. Young guy, but the upside, of course, is that a guy like him makes a contribution that stays with the world forever. Look at all the years we've played his music on our little radio show. Look at all the people who recognize Panama after 23 years of playing it on our show. And then when they hear it somewhere else, they say, that big mouth Gallagher uses that music. So it was a long time ago in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, when we were trying to figure out and carve out what this show would sound like in syndication. When I was going from a local host in New York City at WABC and going into syndication with Dame Gallagher Networks. And my business partners were John and the late, great Al Dame, his dad, and a group of investors out of Pennsylvania. And they said, let's put together a show. And we did. And one of the things we came up with was Panama. Eddie Van Halen. Everyone's heart goes out to his family, his friends, and his millions and millions of fans the world over. It is Wednesday, October the 7th. Welcome in. We have a lot of head-snapping news again today. What do you do when you're trying to negotiate with somebody who you know won't negotiate in good faith? That's the dilemma of the president. The president knows Nancy Pelosi has had no initiative, no inclination to get stimulus checks into the hands of Americans whatsoever. She was not going to do a deal. She was asking for things like voter ID laws being overturned and things that had absolutely nothing to do with the airline industry going under, with Americans going under. She had no intention of helping. And so the president said, okay, it's off the table. I'm done. I'm done. No more negotiation with Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. And then he came back on Twitter, of course, 9:54 p.m. Eastern time last night. He wrote, the House and the Senate should immediately approve $25 billion for airline payroll support and $135 billion for Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses. Both of these will be fully paid for with unused funds from the CARES Act. We have this money. I will sign now. So the president is saying, I'll deliver into the hands of the airline industry and small businesses $135 billion. He went on to tweet, if I am sent a standalone bill for stimulus checks, $1,200, they will go out to our great people immediately. I'm ready to sign now. Are you listening, Nancy? So now I guess the ball is back in her court. Now I presume the Democrats have to decide whether they want to get stimulus checks into the hands of desperate Americans who are hurting, and millions of Americans are hurting, aching, tortured, desperate, suicidal. I'm not exaggerating. That's just a fact. If you're lucky and if you're blessed like we are here and you got a job, good for you. There are many, many, many people who do not. And they are wondering, how am I going to buy groceries next week? And this president says, send me a bill where I can send $1,200. I've got the money. I want $1,200 into the hands of people who are desperate. I want to try to save the airlines, which are about to go under, and they are. You can't fly at 25% capacity or whatever it is, or 50%, and survive with the cost of fuel and personnel and aircraft. So, we could lose the airlines, not to mention all the small businesses that are struggling, all the small businesses that are shut, all the small businesses that may never open their doors, and they're hanging on for dear life, many of them by a thread. Trump's got the money. I want to send it out, $135 billion worth. Nancy, are you listening? And I assume she's going to say, go pound sand. Go take a flying leap. We're not going to talk to you because we've got this in the bag. The pollsters are telling us that Biden's going to win. We've got the election sealed. And Nancy Pelosi is not going to budge from her position of obstinance. Now, Trump's move, very, very brazen. It's risky. It's bold. Probably politically very dangerous. How do you see it playing out? 1-800-655-MIKE. We're in the ReliefFactor.com studios for yet another day, and let's find out. How do you see it playing out? How do you see this movie ending? What's the ending to the book? What's the ending to this novel of 2020? What's the ending to the need of millions of Americans to get some financial assistance? I have no idea. I really don't. I'm not going to sit here and predict anything with you. I've learned not to stop making predictions. I don't have any idea if Trump is going to win in a landslide or if Trump is going to lose by the biggest margin we've ever seen, or if it's going to be a squeaker that will never be determined for weeks and months. I have no idea how this is going to play out. I know that every day there are millions of Americans who in good faith want some relief. And it sounds to me like this president is trying to do just that. And I don't believe that Pelosi or the Democrats are, but let's see how you see it. 1-800-655-MIKE. I hope you join me. We have an open phone line. Call, text, but by all means, join us. 800-655-6453. Welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the Mike Gallagher Show.